Hello everybody, welcome to Gleipnir episode 5 anime review. This episode, disappointingly, wasn't as weird and as out there as previous episodes have been. I am gutted. I am very disappointed. I wanted a goddamn UFO invasion and Godzilla. In all seriousness, it's sort of this episode sort of. I guess it's was going to be sorted out. It's sort of like a battle royale type thing in this forest with basically everyone in the forest is, a monster like Shuichi is. So they're all going to fight. It's basically a free-for-all in the forest is what I imagine the greater plot's going to be at this point. And they'll have gang warfare probably as well. There's like little gang symbols on the walls and stuff. Like logos for your group. So I imagine there's going to be that. There's territories. So I imagine it's going to be sort of battle royale, but there's going to be like alliances formed. Maybe they'll have to form an alliance with someone else, like they did in this episode with that one guy. But yeah, it was all right. It was an interesting new thing they could do. Hopefully, they do good stuff with it. Is basically where I'm at. But anyway, let's jump into the episode, see how it all went down and everything. Let's do this. We open up with some girl who is not important because she doesn't show up again after this scene. She's probably looking for coins, then there's a creepy guy, and then they have a fight, but the fight, we don't see anything else of it. Presumably the girl died, or maybe she killed that guy and all his friends, and she's a big deal. But we don't know, but yeah, there's that. Shuichi and Clair, then we immediately cut to them after the opening. They're just facing off with a Death Knight looking dude, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna need some context on how we got here. Thankfully, the show agreed and we get some context on how we got to the conflict. Haha, words are good. Basically, they went into the forest, mountain forest, whatever you want to call it, and they're looking for coins as you do. They need information. Shuichi says, hey, let's not just attack people because they might be good. But I'm just thinking, like, Shuichi, you naive little boy. Like, everybody's going to attack you. Like, I'll be surprised if people don't attack you. But no, they're like, we can't let anyone see our real faces because then, our regular lives will be in danger. And I'm like, didn't even think of that, to be honest. Wasn't even a thought that crossed my mind. But yeah, good thing that Claire has got the brains. She's got everything, really. Shuichi is just the suit. And I guess he's, like, more morally right. But there ain't no need for that in this Battle Royale age. But no, yeah, they're just wandering for a bit, chatting, as you do. Shuichi then smells something. He's like, don't go that way, there's a thing there. So then she hops in, and then they follow the smell to find the Death Knight. And they don't try and sneak attack it or anything, they just have a chat with it about the coins and whatnot. He turns out he's not after the coins, he just wants to test his strength, see how strong he is now and everything. Which is bad because, if he was after coins, you could sort of share info and stuff, but his whole purpose is he wants to fight. So Shuichi and Claire, you're out of luck a little bit. Shuichi throws the first punch and then there's more fighting going on. It's pretty good. There's a gunshot at one point that bruises his arm. There's good stuff going on, but they don't stand much of a chance against this Death Knight guy. They're a little bit out of their depth. They try and convince the dude. They're like, hey, we're after the coins so the bad guys don't get them. And he's like, well, everyone's a good guy to themselves. And it's like, yeah, he makes a lot of sense. Like, it's just the good and bad, it's just perspective, isn't it? The bad guys probably think that they're good and you're the bad guy. Like, no bad guy thinks they're the bad guy, generally. Generally, the bad guy thinks they're the good guy, even if they're not. That's a grade A Steiner maths right there. Okay. They shoot the dude, but he blocks it, as I said. Then the guy shows his face. He's like, as a reward for putting up a good fight, here's what I look like, and here's all my personal information. So, you could dox me and stuff. Who knows? But, yeah, then it turns out this dude, he says, like, yeah, I can't martial arts in my blade form, so I made my own martial arts. And he does a big old smash and makes a big old, like, fissure in the ground. It's not really a fissure, it's like a... What do you call it? I'm doing that, don't know what to call it. It's like it makes a dent, basically. A dent in the ground, but they get away. Oh, Shuichi and Claire, they escape. They ran away. They didn't do anything particularly, They sort of looked like they were going invisible, but I don't know if that's accurate or not. They run and hide a bit before, eventually, they come up in the suit with a big old bear hug on the guy, but what they're actually trying to do is overpower him, force him down, whatever. Turns out though, it's not both of them. It's just Shuichi, and he's got him in a hug. He's got him in a hug hole. He's like, "I'm gonna kill you now." Then Claire shows up with the big old gun, and he's like, "I'm gonna shoot you if you don't let him go," basically. But the dude, also then Shuichi speaks briefly. He says a few words, and Claire's like, "Idiot, don't speak. You're ruining the strategy." And I was thinking, yeah, idiot, don't speak. You're giving away unnecessary information. But then the guy has a think, and he's like, well, that gun recoil from, if she shoots that, it's going to destroy her arms, probably break them, probably break a lot of her, which is a good thought. But then he just sort of goes back to normal, almost gets his spine crushed by accident. But, he gives up, basically, so that's good. Well, they have a chat with him. They're not going to kill him. They try and get him to get his personal information so they can work for him. Dude doesn't have a phone because that's not manly. Okay. Okay. I don't have anything to add to that, really. What weird guy, but okay. Everyone has a phone these days. But then we see someone taking pictures of we'll say Claire and Shuichi, but we know what he was actually doing. He shows up. He's a goblin guy, and he's like a goblin with a massive head. He's like a big head mode goblin. And he shows up, he's like, I want to get in this. Then he says some pervy things. And he's like, you guys are my slaves now. Alright, you guys are my slaves, me and my buddies. Death Knight just kills him in one hit. So, rip goblin dude, I guess. He has friends though, so I'm assuming they're going to be fighting them next couple episodes maybe. Turns out, Death Knight, he's a really strong guy. Claire was worried because she was worried that they were really weak compared to like everyone else. But no, it just turns out Death Knight is really strong. Most people, like Goblin Guy, are not that ridiculously strong. So, I mean, that's good. That's good because it means they have a fighting chance against the randoms, I guess. They recruit the Death Knight guy. Didn't write his name down. Probably should have. Oh well. They recruit him to their cause, I guess. He's pretty cool with them to help him. He's going to help them look for coins and everything. Well, then we learn that the splitting up was Shuichi's idea. He actually wanted Claire to escape and live on, and she is all like, "But I want to die with you." And it's like, the dude's like, "Bro, you're a real dude. You're a real man, dude." Like he's like impressed with Shuichi's manliness in trying to make it so she could survive, which is a good thing. But she don't want to survive without you, Shuichi. God damn it! It's like, again, it's like almost sweet, but it's the two of them, so it's just like. It's not quite, but it is. It's a weird hybrid of like, I don't know whether I should be like R-ing or ing, That's the real question with it. Anyway, then they check the dude's phone. Claire checks the dude's phone, the goblin guy this is. Checks his phone and there's more pictures on there, including a guy who has a telescope for a head. I don't have anything to add on that. It's a guy with a telescope for a head. And it wasn't like he was like a monster form, it was just like a human body with a telescope for a head. And there was also a guy like looking away from the camera. You can't really see. It was a bad picture. Goblin guy is bad at photography. So that's basically what I got to say on that. But yeah, that was the end of this week's episode. I enjoyed it pretty much. This episode was a lot less weird than the previous ones. I'm still enjoying it though. The battle royale type situation they got going on, sort of turf war thing, that could be interesting. I'd like to see. Obviously, they don't know enough for this yet, but I'd love to see a map of the forest and see which group owns which territory, so to speak, and like where's relatively safe, because it seems like this has obviously been going on way before they got there. So I think it'd be interesting to see how things have sort of worked out, like how the geography of the place is, I guess. Is that weird? Like a map of showing the different factions, and like there's got to be like faction wars and alliances. It's like a completely new metagame now, and I kind of like that. I kind of like the idea of a big old war, and Shuichi and Claire are somehow going to take over the forest. Maybe they'll get an increasingly large gang of other people that can transform, and then they'll all work together and make their own country. It's like, I don't know, it's like a civilization, but with mascot monsters with fleshy insides. I have no idea what I'm saying anyway. Thank you everybody for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing and stuff for more reviews. That would help me out, and I'd appreciate that a lot. Hey, you said the right thing. I'll see you next week for another episode of this. I don't believe it's been delayed, so that's good. See you next week for another episode of this. Take care, and bye guys.